How to catch a blue-tailed skink. Have you ever seen a lizard with a bright blue tail? These are blue-tailed skinks. There are a number of methods to catch these lizards if you want to look at them more closely or remove one from your home. Although you may need to catch the skink, they are wild animals and should not be kept as pets, but rather caught and released back into the wild. Method 1. Using your hands. 1. Use your hands if you need to catch a lizard immediately but do not have a net or trap. Catching a blue-tailed skink with your hands is very difficult, as skinks are quite fast and quickly shed their tails. If you have no other options or like a challenge, then you can try to catch one this way. If you have trouble luring the skink out of its hiding place, then it will be difficult to use your hands. Try using a trap instead. 2. Prepare a temporary home. Any unscented, sturdy container will be fine for a temporary home. You can add local leaves and grasses along with food and water. Blue-tailed skinks will eat spiders and other insects, but the easiest food to acquire is from crickets. Although it is not recommended, you should do research on the most suitable home for this skink if you are preparing a permanent home. It may help to talk to employees at a local vivarium, which can be found online in the Yellow Pages. If you plan to keep the skink permanently, check the laws and permits for your area first. 3. Locate the skink. If you know where the skink lives, stays around often, then move towards that area. If you can find a hole where the lizard comes out from, that is even better. 4. Lure the skink out. Blue-tailed skinks are attracted to light. Set up a light and some bait, either crickets or mealworms, near the area where you think the skink is located. 5. Move slowly towards the skink. You do not want to scare it too early, so get yourself close to it slowly and without abrupt movements. You should come towards it from behind or above, if possible, so that it is less likely to see you. 6. Quickly move your hand over the skink. Use your hand to quickly capture the lizard from above or behind. Make sure you try to catch it on its body rather than its tail. If you try to catch the tail, it is very likely that the tail will simply fall off and the skink will escape. Be careful not to squeeze too hard, or else you could injure the skink. Keep your fingers away from the skink's mouth. Although skinks are not poisonous, it can still hurt when they bite. Method 2. Using a net. 1. Use a net. Do this if you have not had success with your hands, or do not wish to touch the skink. Using a net can be easier than your hands, since you have more reach on the skink and do not have to worry about it shedding its tail. If you have trouble luring the skink out of its hiding place, then it will be difficult to use a net. Try using a trap instead. 2. Prepare a temporary home. Any unscented, sturdy container will be fine for a temporary home. You can add local leaves and grasses along with food and water. Blue-tailed skinks will eat spiders and other insects, but the easiest food to acquire is from crickets. Although it is not recommended, you should do research on the most suitable home for this skink if you are preparing a permanent home. It may help to talk to employees at a local vivarium, which can be found online in the Yellow Pages. If you plan to keep the skink permanently, check the laws and permits for your area first. 3. Obtain a net. The best nets are butterfly nets, which have a long handle and wide net on the end. A long handle will allow you to reach the skink from farther away, increasing your chances of catching the skink. A wide net will also make it easier to catch the skink because you do not have to be so exact when enclosing it. 4. Lure the skink out of its hiding place. Place a bowl of food and light near the area where the skink is hiding, in order to draw the skink out into the open. 5. Trap the skink by closing the net around it. While the skink is busy eating, bring the net down and around it to trap it underneath. It is best to approach the skink from behind so that it is less likely to see you. 6. Slide a piece of cardboard or other sturdy paper under the net. Slide the cardboard under the net to trap the skink inside the net. This will prevent the skink from escaping when you turn the net over. 7. Turn the net over so that the skink falls inside. While holding the cardboard over the opening of the net, turn the net over so that you can carry the skink. Keep the cardboard over the end so it does not jump or crawl out. 8. Turn the net back upside down to put the skink into its temporary home. Remove the cardboard and turn the net over to allow the skink to fall or crawl into its new home. Method 3. Using a trap. 1. Use a trap when you have been unable to lure the skink out of its hiding place. A trap can be set up and left for days while it waits to catch the skink. This reduces the amount of time spent on waiting for the skink to come out of hiding. 2. Prepare a temporary home. Any unscented, sturdy container will be fine for a temporary home. You can add local leaves and grasses along with food and water. Blue-tailed skinks will eat spiders and other insects, but the easiest food to acquire is from crickets. Although it is not recommended, you should do research on the most suitable home for this skink if you are preparing a permanent home. It may help to talk to employees at a local vivarium, which can be found online in the Yellow Pages. If you plan to keep the skink permanently, check the laws and permits for your area first. 3. Obtain or make a trap. You can buy a glue trap or a mouse trap from a local hardware store. Alternatively, you can make your own trap using a box and plastic wrap. Cover the opening of the box with plastic wrap and cut a slit in it about 6 inches, 15 centimeters, long. Glue traps are also humane and can be safely used for skinks. If using a mouse trap, try to get one that does not snap down too quickly. You do not want to injure or kill the skink, just catch it. 4. Bait the trap. If using a glue trap, you should attach a few crickets to the glue. If using a mouse trap, you may need to use mealworms or dead crickets to bait it. If you are using a homemade trap, you should rest the bait, if it is lightweight, on top of the plastic wrap to lure the skink up there. 5. Set the trap out where a skink is likely to come. Locate the area where you usually see the skink and set up the trap. 6. Check the trap several times a day. You do not want the skink to starve or die of thirst before you release it, so you should check the trap often to see if a skink has been caught. 7. Be patient. You probably will not catch the skink immediately, but eventually it should work. You may need to change the bait after several days to keep it from getting old or rotting. 8. Transfer the skink to its temporary home. When you have caught a skink, you can transfer it to its temporary home that you have prepared. For skinks caught in mouse traps or homemade traps, you can simply allow the skink to crawl into its new home. If you have caught a skink using a glue trap, then pour a few tablespoons of cooking oil onto the trap. This will break down the adhesive and allow the skink to escape. You can also nudge the skink off the trap with your fingers, but be careful not to be bit or cause the tail to fall off. Tips. Handle skinks with care to prevent their tails from dropping off. Warnings. Keep pets away from blue-tailed skink tails. If the tail falls off of the skink, keep your pets away because they are poisonous when ingested. Lizards can bite, so be careful.